Kazim, your host, and you are watching Talkland. I thought I should go online with you and have your company because I am going to rehearse my tomorrow's lecture, which is on international organizations. So, international organizations are also non state actors in world politics. So, there are two main kinds of international organizations. First, intergovernmental organizations, IGOs, and second, non governmental organizations, NGOs. Intergovernmental organizations are also called IGOs. Their abbreviation is used IGOs. So, IGOs are made up of countries, their members are states, and NGOs, they comprise private people, their members are common people, citizens, individuals. In the 1900s, the number of both IGOs and NGOs grew very fast. There was a rapid growth in their number. In 1909, there were 37 intergovernmental organizations and 176 non governmental organizations. And by 1960, there were 154 intergovernmental organizations. It means their numbers increased. And by 1960, there were 1,255 NGOs. At the start of 2012, even the number increased further and it rose to 262 IGOs and more than 8,300 NGOs there were by 2012. So there are also other kinds of international organizations which are called unconventional IGOs and NGOs. And in 2012, there were 707 unconventional IGOs and 4,566 unconventional NGOs. These include groups like international funds and foundations. Now, intergovernmental organizations, IGOs. Let us talk about the IGOs first. IGOs, as we said, they are made up by countries and they are made for some purpose to solve problems. And IGOs are seen as more important than NGOs. This is because IGOs have governments as members. Governments are powerful, and IGOs usually last longer than some of the NGOs. And IGOs meet again and again at fixed times. They have clear rules for making decisions. And IGOs also have a permanent office and staff to do the work. IGOs are very different in size and they are also different by purpose. And there are only 34 intergovernmental organizations which are called intercontinental organizations. And there are only 36 intergovernmental organizations like the United Nations, which have members from almost all countries. More than 73% of IGOs are smaller and only focus on certain regions. IGOs in each group are also very different. Some are made for one purpose and have limited members. NATO is one example of such IGOs, and it is mainly a military alliance. NATO is a military alliance. And the Organization of American States, OAS, it is another example. It works for economic growth and democratic reforms. Most IGOs work on certain economic issues or they work on social issues. They focus on things like trade. They also focus on transportation. And the growth of IGOs has made a big network of many international organizations. These organizations often work together. They deal with many kinds of global problems and they help each other in trade. They work on defense, they work on disarmament, and they support economic development and agriculture. They care about health, they care about culture, they take care of human rights. They also support the arts and they fight against illegal drugs. They work on tourism, they work on labor, they work for gender equality, and they focus on education, that some of them focus on environment, and these international organizations deal with crime and give humanitarian aid, and they also give help in civilian crises. They improve telecommunications, and they work for the advancement of science, and they study globalization and its effects. They also work on immigration and refugees. Now, after having discussed the intergovernmental organizations, IGOs, let us discuss non governmental organizations, NGOs. NGOs means any group that is not part of a government and that is not for profit. And NGOs act like middlemen. They connect people who have resources with groups that need help. And NGOs are also called intersocietal organizations, and they take part in talks between countries. They try to help countries make agreements for global governance. They work on almost every big international issue, and NGOs build links in global society. So, in fact, we are talking about international NGOs. So, international NGOs make transnational advocacy networks. So, uh, we need to keep in mind that NGOs are of two types: national NGOs or local NGOs and international NGOs. So, here, since we are talking about international organizations, so the NGOs being discussed are international NGOs. So, international NGOs networks push for policy changes, and from a constructivist view, international NGOs act because of their interests. They also act because of their values. And NGOs, like intergovernmental organizations, are very different from each other. And some NGOs are small and have only a few hundred members. Some NGOs are very big. For example, Amnesty International, it is one of the largest international NGOs. In 2015, the Amnesty International had 3 million members, and they were in more than 150 countries and regions. In 2013, the Union of International Associations studied international NGOs. It found that about 6% were universal, more than 15% were intercontinental, and almost 79% were regional. NGOs work in almost every area of life. They deal with political issues, social issues, and economic issues. They work in a globalized world with fewer borders. They focus on earth sciences, ethnic unity, and healthcare. They also work on language, they work on history and culture. They support education, they support theology, law, and ethics. And international NGOs even work in security and defense sectors. And international NGOs are not all the same. There are many types of international NGOs with different names. People use many acronyms for them. NGOs means non-governmental organizations. INGOs means international NGOs. BI-NGOs means business international NGOs. RI-NGOs means religious international NGOs. ENGOs means environmental NGOs. Co-NGOs means quasi non-governmental organizations. Co-NGOs are partly created or supported by governments. Many of these types have consultative status at the United Nations. Some of the examples of such NGOs are Academic Council on the UN System, Canadian Chemical Producers Association, Care International, World Young Women's Christian Association, Worldwide Fund for Nature International, the Union of Arab Banks, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, the World Energy Council, the World Federation of Trade Unions, and the World Veterans Association. These are some examples. It is not an exhaustive list. People around the world usually see NGOs in a very positive way. Most NGOs work for goals that many people support. Because of this, they do not face much opposition. The World Bank defines NGOs as private groups. These groups help reduce suffering. They support the people, they support the poor, they protect the environment, they provide basic social services, they also support community development. Some famous NGOs have wide public support at the national and international levels. For example, Amnesty International, it is very popular and it is a wide support around the globe. Similarly, the International Chamber of Commerce, the International Red Cross, Save the Children, and the World Wildlife Federation, all these are very big and very popular. But some NGOs are seen as negative. They bring people together in harmful ways. Examples include terrorist groups, drug rings are also harmful and negative, and the pirates, they are also international groups, but they're dangerous. Many NGOs also work with IGOs, intergovernmental organizations. More than 3,000 NGOs consult with United Nations agencies, and they have offices in many cities. Side conferences, they also hold side conferences during IGO meetings. These partnerships help NGOs and IGOs work together, and they push for shared policies and programs. As IGOs and NGOs grow stronger, one big question remains: will a global society replace the old system focused on states? If that happens, will it make global governance more democratic or more unstable? So, this was the few things about the international organizations. With this, goodbye. Thank you. Thank you for staying with me.